If you own a home anywhere in South Minneapolis, there's a 10-acre construction site at Lake Street and Nicollet Avenue that's about to affect your property value more than almost anything else happening in this city right now. And most homeowners have no idea what's actually being built there. It's the old Kmart site. In this video, I'm going to give you the 5 things every South Minneapolis homeowner needs to know about the new Nicollet redevelopment. What's really being built, what it means for your home value, the risks nobody's talking about, and exactly what I'd watch over the next 5 to 10 years. So let's get into it. My name is Arne Johansson. I'm a realtor here in Minneapolis, and I've helped people buy and sell nearly 400 houses right here in the Minneapolis metro. I've also built, remodeled, and developed property in these neighborhoods, so I look at a project like this a little bit differently than most. So here's my offer. If you're thinking about buying or selling in South Minneapolis and you want a straight answer about how a project like this could affect your home, there's a link in the description to book a free 20-minute call with me. There's no pressure or obligation. I'm just here to help you make a smart decision. Okay, so number 1, to understand why this matters, you need to know what this corner has been used for. And here's the first fact. Between about 1920 and 1950, intersection of Nicollet and Lake was one of the great shopping districts in Minneapolis. It was the crossroads of 2 heavily used streetcar lines. This was a destination. Then the streetcars shut down in the mid-1950s, and families started to move out to the new suburbs like St. Louis Park, and the district then went into a decline. So in the early 1970s, the city cleared the rundown buildings, hoping to spark redevelopment, but the funding fell through. By 1976, city was in a tough financial spot, and the only retailer interested in the site was Kmart. And so here was their condition, though. They wanted to do a big box store with a giant parking lot, and that meant closing the block of Nicollet Avenue to traffic. So the store then opened in 1977, and the pushback was instant. The Whittier Alliance Neighborhood Group was formed that same year, partly to fight this new Kmart store, and they lost. And here's the part that matters to you as a homeowner. That store and its parking lot didn't just annoy drivers, it became a barrier. It broke the street grid, and it made the surrounding blocks harder to invest in for basically 2 full generations. The turning point came in 2020 when the city finally bought out Kmart's lease for about $9.1 million, which was part of over $20 million spent to gain control of the site. The building was demolished in the fall of 2023 after a fire, and that left the city with something rare. It had a 10-acre blank slate right in the heart of the city. And so this is where the coverage gets kind of fuzzy. So I'm going to separate what's approved and what's happening from what's just still part of a vision. There are 3 parts. Part 1 is the street. This is happening right now. The city is physically rebuilding and reopening Nicollet Avenue between Lake Street and Cecil Newman Lane, including the bridge over Midtown Greenway. Construction started in September of 2025. The city expects Nicollet to reopen to traffic by the end of 2026. After 50 years, this intersection reconnects. So part 2, the first building. This is the newest news. In April of 2026, the Minneapolis City Council awarded the first phase to a nonprofit developer called Trellis, a Minneapolis group that's been building affordable housing since 1991. They beat out another nonprofit, 𝐼𝐻𝐽𝐻𝐽, after a public feedback process. So here's what the first phase includes. On the southeast corner along Lake Street, roughly 119 being income-restricted apartments, 1 to 4 bedrooms for households that are 30, 50, and 60% of the area median income. About 40,000 square feet of nonprofit space anchored by the Boys and Girls Club of the Twin Cities, and about 15,000 square feet of local retail, small businesses, but these aren't big chains. We also have park and rec space and around 15 parking spots, which are mostly underground. Plus, there's geothermal and solar. So this first phase is deliberately affordable housing first, and I'll explain why that matters for you for your home value in just a minute. And then part 3, the rest of the site, this is the vision, and it's the long game. The full framework approved in 2025 after 3 years of input and more than 20,000 conversations. Dense walkable district, 600 plus homes total, mix of affordable and market rate townhouses and street level retail at corner, and a full service grocery store somewhere between 20 and 30,000 square feet as its anchor. On the north half near the Greenway, there's a plan for a brand new public park, a central lawn, a civic plaza, and a walking connections up to the trail. And honestly, here's the flag. The grocery store, the market rate housing, and the park are still in the future phases bucket. They're in the plan. They are not funded. They are not even under construction. So even the first phase is expected to take 3 to 5 years just to finance and build. And the full district, city watchers openly say it could take close to 2 decades. Now, the question you actually came for is this. A quick reminder is I'm just a realtor. I'm not a appraiser. I'm not a fortune teller. Nobody can promise you a number, but we can look at how projects like this move neighborhoods. So the first is the street reconnection alone is a real win. When you turn a dead barrier back into a walkable intersection with transit and retail, you generally improve connectivity and walkability. And walkability is one of the most durable things buyers will pay extra for. The neighborhoods in the immediate orbit are Whittier, Linden Hills, Kingfield, and East Harriet. They stand to benefit the most. Powderhorn, Central, Bancroft, Standish, Phillips, Angletown, and Nokomis in the wider Ripple. Now the data, because numbers only matter if I tell you what they mean. So citywide, as of the middle of 2026, the Minneapolis median sales price is around $65,000 to $370,000. Homes are moving in roughly 3 weeks to 2 months, depending on how you measure it, and inventory is still under a 2-month supply. So it is a relatively friendly seller's market. But zoom into the neighborhoods right by this site and you see the premium these areas already carry. Kingfield, for example, has posted a median price in the mid 400s for over the last year. That's well above the city median, with homes selling in under a month. And what that tells you is simple. Proximity to walkable, amenity-rich corridors already commands a premium here. And a well-executed redevelopment is just going to reinforce it. Now, here's the part most videos won't say out loud. There's real tension. On the one hand, a grocery store, hundreds of new residents, local retail, and a park are exactly what make a neighborhood more valuable. On the other hand, the first phase is intentionally affordable and income restricted, and the city built explicit anti-displacement commitments into the project because the flip side of rising values is that longtime residents can get priced out. So for you as an owner, that combination points towards steady, supported demand rather than an overnight spike. And honestly, steadier is healthier than having something jump really quick right away. Now, I don't do hype, okay? So here's what could slow this down or go sideways. Risk number one is the grocery store might not come. The whole plan leans on a grocer to drive foot traffic, but grocers are extremely picky about parking, about loading, about density. The city's own plan admits attracting one here is going to take work. Risk number two, private money has to show up. The first phase always works because affordable housing is subsidized, but the market rate housing depends on private developers betting on this corner. And right now, that area has real visible livability and public safety challenges, including some serious issues near the Greenway. That's the honest pictures, and investors are going to be weighing it. Risk number 3 is time. The first phase is a 3 to 5 years runway before it's even built. The full district is going to take over a decade. So if you're buying nearby expecting a finished new Nicollet in 2 years, you're just going to have to reset that idea. Risk number 4 is construction disruption. In the near term, expect 3 years of detours, traffic, and noise around Lake and Nicollet. That's the cost of the eventual payoff. I'm telling you all of this because good decisions come from clear eyes, and that's the whole point of this channel. So what does the upside look like? You want to hear the case for the upside. Now let's look at the North Loop and the Mill District. Both were forgotten districts. The city reconnected them, added housing and walkability, and they became 2 of the most desirable and most expensive neighborhoods in Minneapolis. New Nicollet is trying to do the same thing, but while protecting affordability, which is harder and it's slower, but it's arguably more sustainable. So here are the 4 signals I would watch. Number 1, does Nicollet actually reopen on schedule by the end of 2026? Number 2, does a grocery store actually sign on? Number 3, who gets picked for the next phases, and is it market rate? And number 4, does the city follow through on public safety and on the park? Those 4 things will tell you whether this becomes great South Minneapolis corridor or a slower grind. So here's a quick recap. The street reconnection is real, and it's happening by the end of 2026. Trellis is building the first affordable phase, and the bigger dream, the grocery, the market rate homes, the park is a genuine plan, but it's 5 to 10 years out or more. So if you're weighing a move to South Minneapolis and you want someone who actually knows these blocks, book a free 20-minute call. There's a link in the description. I'll give you a straight answer about your specific situation. And if you want to understand this market before you make a move, I've got a full market updates playlist breaking down exactly this kind of thing. I'll link it right here. So subscribe if you're buying or selling in the Twin Cities, because I post new local breakdowns every single week. I'm Arne. I'll see you in the next video.